Conclusion. I did not return to England by the most direct route, but took the opportunity of seeing more of men and manners in yet other lands. Arrived in England at last, we set to work bravely at Aldershot to retrieve our fallen fortunes, and stem off the ruin originated in the Crimea. But all in vain, and at last defeated by fortune, but not, I think, disgraced, we were obliged to capitulate on very honourable conditions. In plain truth, the old Crimean firm of Seacole and Day was dissolved finally, and its partners had to recommence the world anew. And so ended our campaign. One of us started only the other day for the Antipodes, while the other is ready to take any journey to any place where a stout heart and 2 experienced hands may be of use. Perhaps it would be right if I were to express more shame and annoyance than I really feel at the pecuniarily disastrous issue of my Crimean adventures. But I cannot. I really cannot. When I would try and feel ashamed of myself for being poor and helpless, I only experience a glow of pride at the other and more pleasing events of my career. When I think of the few whom I failed to pay in full, and so far from blaming me, some of them are now my firmest friends, I cannot help remembering also the many who profess themselves indebted to me. Let me, in as few words as possible, state the results of my Crimean campaign. To be sure, I returned from it shaken in health. I came home wounded, as many others did. Few constitutions, indeed, were the better for those winters before Sebastopol, and I was too hard worked not to feel their effects. For a little labour fatigues me now. I cannot watch by sick beds as I could. A week's want of rest quite knocks me up now. Then I returned bankrupt in fortune, whereas others in my position may have come back to England rich and prosperous. I found myself poor, beggared. So few words can tell what I have lost. But what have I gained? I should need a volume to describe that fairly. So much is it, and so cheaply purchased by suffering 10 times worse than what I have experienced. I have more than once heard people say that they would gladly suffer illness to enjoy the delights of convalescence, and so, by enduring a few days' pain, gain the tender love of relatives and sympathy of friends. And on this principle I rejoice in the trials which have borne me such pleasures as those I now enjoy, for wherever I go I am sure to meet some smiling face. Every step I take in the crowded London streets may bring me in contact with some friend, forgotten by me perhaps, but who soon reminds me of our old life before Sebastopol. It seems very long ago now, when I was of use to him and he to me. Where indeed do I not find friends? In omnibuses, in river steamboats, in places of public amusement, in quiet streets and courts, where taking shortcuts I lose my way oft-times, spring up old familiar faces to remind me of the months spent on Spring Hill. The sentries at Whitehall relax from the discharge of their important duty of guarding nothing, to give me a smile of recognition. The very newspaper offices look friendly as I pass them by. Busy printing house yard puts on a cheering smile, and the Punch office in Fleet Street sometimes laughs outright. Now, would all this have happened if I had returned to England a rich woman? Surely not. A few words more ere I bring these egotistical remarks to a close. It is naturally with feelings of pride and pleasure that I allude to the committee recently organized to aid me. And if I indulge in the vanity of placing their names before my readers, it is simply because every one of the following noblemen and gentlemen knew me in the Crimea, and by consenting to assist me now record publicly their opinion of my services there. and yet I may reasonably on other grounds be proud of the fact that it has been stated publicly that my present embarrassments originated in my charities and incessant labours among the army by Major General Lord Rokeby, KCB. His Highness Prince Edward of Saxe-Weimar, C.B., His Grace the Duke of Wellington, His Grace the Duke of Newcastle, the Right Honourable Lord Ward, General Sir John Burgoyne, K.C.B., Major General Sir Richard Airy, K.C.B., Rear Admiral Sir Stephen Lushington, K.C.B., Colonel McMurdo, C.B., Colonel Chapman, C.B., Lieutenant Colonel Ridley, C.B., Major the Honourable F. Keane, W. H. Russell, Esquire, Times Correspondent, W. T. Doyne, Esquire. The End. That is the end of the wonderful adventures of Mrs. Seacole in Many Lands by Mary Seacole.